From grade 8, we're carrying on with fractions, and today we're doing addition of fractions but with mixed numbers. Okay, yesterday we did addition but there was only fractions. Today we've got mixed numbers. So what do we mean when we say we have a mixed number? It means that we have a whole number and a fraction. So this part of it is a whole number and this part of it is a fraction. So that becomes that is called a mixed number. So we've got 3 1/4 plus 2 1/5. Okay, and the easy way of doing it is that you just take the whole numbers first. So I've got 3 and 2 and I've added them together, gives me 5. And then I'm going to do the fraction part of it. I have to add quarter plus 1/5. Now remember here the denominators are not the same, so we can't just add these fractions up together. What we have to do is we have to get a common denominator. So we look at our smaller denominator. Can 4 divide into 5? No, it can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the denominators together and I'm going to get a common denominator of 20. So I'm going to use 20. So I have to multiply 4 by 5 to get to 20. So I have to multiply the top by 5, so I get 5 over 20. Okay, now I need to see what do I do to 5 to get to 20. So I've got to multiply that by 4. So I'm going to multiply the top by 4. So 4 times 1 is 4. Now I've got like fractions and common denominators, so I can add the fractions up together. And all I need to do is keep the same denominator here and add 5 plus 4, 9. And remember the whole number here, which is 5. So I've got 5 and 9 over 20. So we're just splitting it up. Yesterday we did this part here. You just add your whole numbers up together and do the addition of the fractions. But remember, we are changing this to equivalent fractions, which means that it means the same thing. 1/5 is exactly the same as 4 over 20. And a quarter is the same as 5 over 20. All we're doing is looking for a common denominator. So then the rule of maths is that we can add those numbers up together. Okay, let's go on to a subtraction. So subtraction, I've got a question here, 5 1/4 minus 2 1/3. Yesterday we did questions where there was only fractions, but now what do we have? We have two mixed numbers, and now we're not adding, we're subtracting. So what we need to do, our first step is we have to convert these two numbers into improper fractions. Okay, so we're going from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Okay, and we need to just revise it. It's last year's work, but I just want to go over it so that you're not struggling to do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, you're taking here's my mixed number, okay, and I want to convert it to an improper fraction. I'm going to say 4 times the 5, or 5 times 4 here. So 5 times 4 plus the 1 there on the top plus the numerator. So it makes it 5 times 4 is 20 plus 1 gives me 21. And I'm going to carry my bottom denominator here, and this becomes my 21 over 4. Okay, so to calculate your numerator, this is going to be your numerator. You're going to say 4 times 5 plus the 1, okay, which gives you 21, and the bottom, the denominator stays the same. So this is the mixed number. Why mixed number? Because I have a whole number and a fraction, and this is the improper fraction. Okay, can you see what has happened there? Right, so I've changed 5 1/4. It means the same thing. 21 over 4 is 5 1/4. Then I have 2 1/3. Let's do it. We have a mixed number. So I'm going to say 3 times 2 plus the 1. Okay, so I've got 3 times 2 plus the 1. Same method all the time. So this part is my numerator, which gives me 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And my denominator stays the same, which is 7 over 3. Okay, so 2 1/3 is going to be the same as 7 over 3. So I'm substituting 5 1/4 with 21 over 4, which I've got from there. And I'm substituting 2 1/3 with 7 over 3 to make it easy for me to subtract. Now look at the denominators here. Again, we've got different denominators, so I can't just subtract those two numbers. I have to find a common denominator. Can 3 divide into 4? No, so I need to multiply my denominators together. So I'm taking 4 times 3, which gives me 12, What did I do to 4 to get to 12? I multiplied 4 by 3, so I need to multiply my numerator by 3. If it's a big number, you can use your calculator. 21 times 3 is 63. So what did I do to my denominator here to get to 12? I've multiplied it by 4, so I need to multiply the top by 4. So 7 times 4 is 28. Now I've got like fractions. Can you see my denominators are the same? And I can subtract now. So 63 minus 28 gives you 35 over 12. So when we got an answer like this here now, and we need to convert it back to mixed numbers, if they tell you to do that in the question, now we need to revise that a little bit. So what we're doing is basically dividing. This is actually telling you 35 divided by 12, right? So you're going to see how many times 12 can divide into 35. I've got my answer as 2, but now the problem is I don't have an exact answer. I have got a remainder, okay? 12 times 2 is how much? 12 times 2 is 24, right? So I've got a remainder of 11. The remainder, I'm going to write it down as a fraction using the same denominator, so 11 over 12. So I've converted 35 over 12 to 2 and 11 over 12. It means exactly the same thing. It's equivalent, but what we have done is we've changed from an improper fraction now. This is an improper fraction to a mixed number. Okay. So just to revise a little bit, when you have subtraction, you need to convert first from the whole mixed numbers to improper fractions. Then we need to see if our denominators are not the same. We need to change the denominator, make them into like fractions, and then only can we subtract. We get our answer, and if our answer says we must simplify the answer, then we need to divide the 12 into the 35, and you write down the remainder as 11 over 12. Okay, so this is very simple work. It's actually work that you've done last year, but I just wanted to do a revision for you to recap your memory, and your homework is exercise 15.5.